meaning overview because that all about Moses and Gao the story that it's long from the time they escaped Egypt to the time to the promised land to the time they became kings kind of long, so there's a lot to go through. So I'm just going to go through some brief moments, the brief overview. Okay. So the first section, reality of the mind versus reality of God. So we'll get to that later, but it's just when our reality of what we see and what we think is real versus what's actually real. Okay, and later on it comes into play, and then that comes reality too. And then we're gonna talk about why in Deuteronomy why 11 days becomes 40 years, right? So 11 days becomes 40 years, and Deuteronomy 29. So it's just the 3 verses and then the 4 verses. Okay, well the 3 verses, but then có about reality, nó có reality, reality, how we live, how we see things, how we think things, versus how the reality of God. But later on, I'll explain it through the new verse. But anyway, so we're gonna talk about later on. I'm gonna talk about why, right? Because Moses not in Deuteronomy 1:1, and it gone from the time that we took Egypt. Young Joe, just walk, okay? Just to walk young Joe from the time we were took from Egypt all the way to Mount Sinai, to the promised land, to the land God promised the one that take 11 days, right? 11 days. So in the Bible, now, how did it go from 11 days to 40 years, right?
40
young, right? I go from 11 days to facing young. And then throughout the verse now, the word get promised, the word get protected, the word get through everything. We'll go through it. So one thing what jumps to that, the word Jews now 400, right? 400 years no been slave, right? So been slave, beaten, right? The word if it's a word lucky now, it may among Egypt now. What Egypt is, it's a word Cairo word, nó có the triangle nha. The triangle, the pyramid, we have pyramid word. And may what now, then just remember that during the 400 years or more, 400 years now, the Jews were no been slave, where they built that. Okay, Egypt, the Pharaoh made no been slave that built that. Okay. So 400 years of slavery. And then after all that time, may condition to live a certain way, may condition to be a certain way. That we all human, it takes a long time to change, right? Because from your parents' time, each type of boom, it's a lot of boom, the way they would live, the idol they would serve, the things they would do, the ceremony, the Taoism, I don't know, all the stuff. Sometimes I don't understand it, right? But when your time, the older generation, they understand that, right? I don't know, all that banging, all that noise, all that stuff, just noise, right? But you grow at a different time, right? In your time, differently, so it takes a long time to change, right? When we first get here, trying to adapt to the U.S. laws, try to adapt to the U.S. government, try to adapt to how to live here, what to do, and that's different, right? It's not even your time. From your time, try to adapt to your nephew, your time is different, right? So it's going to be from how you grow up to how your nephew will Richard, will Derek, will will grow up. That's so different, right? Yeah, it's to adapt to the world. Your parents have to adapt, right? It's to hold no cell phone, no computer, no streaming, no words like from your time that is different, right? Mine, everything word of mouth, I feel that, okay? So 400 years now, it's gonna affect the bunyan. So, and then we're gonna talk about what God always talk about if bunyin heal, right? Bụng mà bụng heal, bụng bunyin heal, and everybody heal nha. Okay, so like bukona, may bunyin heal is not into something, or how America call it, your heart's not into it. It's not into it, right? So if my heart is not into my wife, my husband, into my spouse, right? There's no love. If my heart is not into my joy, you're not gonna take care of them. My heart is not into fixing my look, you're not gonna care, right? So God come about when you heal, no matter what, no matter what we see, no matter what happens, if my heel's not into it, then it's not gonna be. Okay, so the heart does not change even if there's evidence of miracles, right? So in Moses' time, that God performed so many miracles, right? So many things. Egypt, 10 plagues. God just performed the 10 plagues, right? Cross the Red Sea, and then the Red Sea collapsed. The word God provided was water, right? Moses talked with the staff there. God, when he just touch the water, let the water become, sweet water, right? You see it that God provided the world with the bread. In the Bible, we have manna, right? Bread of heaven. We'll call it bread of heaven, right? God rained when they need Georgia that. So the ones to collect. All the want to do is collect every day by day, collect the young, right? Even seeing all this, all that, destroy Egypt, man, army, man, destroy the Pharaoh, man. All this thing, everything that happened at the end, we still trust God. We still believe God, right? Every time all this stuff happened, we're going to go back to Egypt. Okay? And then that leads to the first one, right? So the first time, about the water, we took to Egypt, man. They were walking for 400 in the desert. They were him Moses, right? Him Moses. Mình put in right? It's like God just performed all these miracles in the word. So the tongue ha tiên tu him Moses. So him Moses so con you brought the gang Egypt, right? You brought the gang Egypt. So we'll get into this later on when you come, but we'll get to detail. But you brought the gang in Egypt. At least in Egypt now you will have you will live in a piao, you will be safe. The book on that, so first one, the book right in the book on farm, in the book on farm, the book jump to in Egypt now the book hand, the book boy piao, the book suffer, the book hang jang, the book nhận dinner with the Pharaoh, no, right? But in reality, it was different, right? We hear you what told, it was so that in reality, no best slave, it's not like that, right? The food you eat is not the best food. The water you drink is not the best water. The house you eat it's not basic. It's right? It's just what talk whole come to go home and piao man. But you would live in a castle, king no. It's like no have to no Moses thought the God that no have any live as a king, like that. When you go from them to home, right? So it's different. So it's like that's you. Reality, right? In the book of farm is different from how we actually live. So every time something happened, we go chat him Moses, right? So no man and him Moses. Man, put in the toy, you should not die. You want the gun, you will go live like a king. It's like, may forget, at one point, right? At one point, Pharaoh becomes Zirka, the Jews, mean hell in the world, right? It's sad, but no hell, no every firstborn, every child that's born when they were drown, right? So Pharaoh comes here, the one they will forget them, right? All the Israelites, all the Jewish people, they'll forget they'll forget all the horror, forget the beating, forget the slavery, they'll forget them. They'll shut that the tongue, Cha him Moses held the gun. So and then at one point, they were, it's like, the high, there's times in life, right? Not everybody can be saved. Not everybody can be talked to. Not everybody. And this is example, right? The word. Now, so I'm saying, we're not Gentiles, right? We're not Gentiles. We're not outsiders to godly people. The word not actual God people, right? God, your chosen people. And then the word xuất tăng mình tầm vong hết tiếng tu ta hiểu the way hiểu mình so Moses your brother Aaron mình của Aaron con hey lao không có thiên hùng nè mày craft you will not thiên hùng ta we will worship it's like you know when think about it it's like stupid when stupid then but then you know at that time it's different because when hi been slave for long, right? Year after year after year, family after family, generation after generation, father to son, to grandfather, to grandson, to great grandson, to great grandson. So the word said that no, it's too much freedom that I don't know how to live life or so. The word boy Aaron, forget about God. That even after all the things God did, all the things all the things that happened in the world. So boy Aaron crafted the idol. We hear the word Aaron in one of the Aaron Moses your brother, good leader. But there's one moment, honey, crazy man, put in man, or make a false judgment and go, okay. So when you go, with jewelry, melt down that craft word when you ngông, ngông ton, right? When you craft. Learn the word chat craft, take all these idols, learn the idols now later on. What you do is the idols of Egypt, right? So they idols, they fake God, not Egypt, you fake gods, right? These are all Egypt, you fake God, Horus. When you summon the new fake gods, now we know Horus, Osiris, when you Nefertari, when you Egypt, you fake gods, the one they serve. The word a real God, show the real miracle, show the real everything, souls and everything. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, when you heal, you believe, you don't believe. Even all that, right? Know that. So I held, so idol. And then finally, after 2 years, and I forget, okay, we're going to go back to Egypt. Don't forget at this time, Egypt, right? We'll read the Bible. We to Egypt, when Egypt crossed, when in Egypt, Pharaoh army, how Pharaoh crossed the Red Sea, when the sea collapsed, destroys the woman. So the book forget that no con still much in Egypt, still much in the Pharaoh, still much in the Ganai, still much in the Lahang, still. It's the when other kings, so it's a fight for Egypt, right? All the other sons, all the uncles, the cousins. It's I want to be Pharaoh, that's a fight. No mind anything to go back to it. But no every time no my trouble, no go no what the gang, and then it's like it's hard to forget sometimes where we come from and how we're so the world go to a comfortable place, and in the world mind that being a slave is a comfortable place, right? And so finally after 2 years, so come to the Scotland. So this one's funny too. 2 years, finally what the promised land, right? This is after Moses. Me the mountain the idol the 10 commandments me slam broken, right? So the word even the new covenant that the tabernacle the 10 commandments broken the God and rewrite another 10 commandments put the word, right? So after 2 years then the word how the edge me how the edge was Mount Sinai where the word mount no promised land, right? The land that God promised the word full of vitality, full of fruits, full of food, full of everything that may possibly, because God blessed the land, blessed God, blessed God. So the word sent out 12 scouts, right? The 12 scouts later on become the 12 tribes of Israel. But the word sent out the 12 scouts. So the word stay in the desert. city, 40 days, 40 nights, right? So the 40 nights is 40 nights, and it's going to become relevant because the word in Noah in your time, the rain 40 days, 40 nights, right? Moses need mountain, 40 days, 40 nights. Jesus need pray, need fast in the wilderness, in the mountain, the 40 days, 40 nights, okay? So they scouts, for some reason 40 days is important to God, man. So 40 days, 40 nights, the women live in the city. The women see everything, everything. No, but promised land, everything. So no, the Ganta, no, Moses and the whole tribe of everything. No, what? No, có land giàu tài, như giàu tài no to grapes the God blessed con nom land, right? In the Bible, no có no to grapes the Ganta grape whole con will take Iu-Mienh to carry just one stalk of grape, right? No to fruits the gang throw all sorts of the gang to the Ganta the word. Chẳng tức nó 40 days, 40 nights nó nhận the Chúa, the rain from heaven, right? Nó bỏ lỡ nó ta ăn hết tại nó ta có finally. But then nó 12 scouts diệp tàu con bà in the land, no my army, no my cities, no my walls, no my giants, right? So với chẳng tự the giants still live because in Noah time, because of the angels and the human, women, they created giants, right? They were born and Nephilim, when they became giants. So at this time, later on, the giants are the ancestor of the Goliath, which David, we used to later on, beat, right? So 12 people took, right? 12 people took, all saw the same thing, all thought the same thing. But the one-year vision, the one-year belief is not the same. 12 people, 10 people the gang, right? 10 people the gang that nó có mai the word, mai the night. 4 hai beat the word. Word là hung insect, right? We are like grasshoppers to them. The word là chai word tiếng, right? Eat out people, oh no, right? Yeah. Either people go no, right? So Aaron and Jeff, I think I'll read it later, but yeah, either go no, right? The word comes here, no go. We have God on our side. This is our land. This is our place. We went through 400 years of slavery. Now you will talk. Now you will promised land. What mean? God mean, right? What mean? God mean. God, that's all you got to do is believe. Walk to it, accept, collect, live like a king. Y tạo con ha. 12 con, what they 10 con? No. So the word con no, right? Because of I, right? War in life, war is not win alone, right? If everybody united, if community united, it's going to be bad. If the house is not united, things going to happen, right? War is not won alone. Faith not won alone. Life not win alone. That's why in the Bible, God always asks us, Iu-Mienh agree, right? Iu-Mienh believe. At least because everything is not alone, right? But I do everything alone because it's human. It's human life now. Can't do everything alone. So 12 people took 10 tạo được con 2 chỗ ý tạo con 2 nhé chỗ con no, right? God give people con no nope. You won't want me. You won't want collect. You want your land. You won't want to live like a king. You won't want to live no. You want tagang back to Egypt. Always back to Egypt. Always back to slavery. Always back to being oppressed. Always back con tagang ha. How can go back to Egypt now? I live, master, live like a king, okay? So yes, don't forget how bad it was, right? Confirm that for but in reality, it was so bad, right? So no mà mình đã God hiểu nhà God chia ta fine. Since mà mình for every day mới mean non-promised land. it's going to equal to 1 year man to live in the wilderness. Right? 40 days, 40 nights, 40 years in the wilderness. And He promised the people that Egypt would never ever step on Nom land. So the people that took the butup what, the butup what, the one had live, because God on the one had me. That's it. When you joy had me, when your grandkid had me, when your great grandkid had me, but man, had me. So 2 reasons. Punishment, and of course it is punishment, right? But then it's also because God put the word that God got man, I to train the word plus slavery plus law, I too no mindset. So the word live that to tune the word that to change the word, train the word to become kings, right? So we hear in 40 years and the word become king, become better, right? Just like us, right? So just like how even your parents it takes years, right? Years to learn English, years to get jobs, years to finish school, years to live, years to buy a house, to buy a car, to fix a car, to have kids, and pay for kids in school, and train the kids to live the way they will live, that you will live better, right? So I live better than Nyete. My nephew live better than me, and their kids gonna live better than them, right? So it takes years and years to adapt to a new place, to believe in God, to see the miracles of God, to see everything. Okay, so on the final note now, I'll get through this specifically in the next probably month or 2. But yeah, one last testimony. Okay, one last testimony. You go at E2, alright, E2 in your position, because since 2004, mom come in complain to right? You go my mom in complain to me, that's it. Anything with money is complaints, right? No hang now, cuss, so night, so what, toy bottle, toy bottle, toy card, toy chip, toy nhang, toy that, toy what, so ngoài chỗ có tận quân right? Tận care, care about customer service, care about players, care about nhàn. You con mày quân nhàn, là sếp nó quân nhàn, you kéo mày nhàn, you quân mày nhàn. Đó hay, it's not that good, okay? I don't care about your money, mày tip. So the word create this new job years ago. We created this new job at that time. You know what? So for some reason, God nói vậy rồi, because you do something might happen. So như tuổi rồi ta mai ta enforce the rules that need the boss chat hẹn nín ha, chắc chắn hẹn qua nín chia ta mình con. Roger, mày走你工嘛，他走你工耶，因把我个 boss hẹn qua hải khôi,因把hải khôi. So eventually, number 2 man, you will find another boss. That boss become a new boss. That boss go year to take over non-job. So but take over non-job now. The boss, the owner, new boss had him year, huh? So year 2 man, it's a new pen. So it's pay about the same thing because it's a Bay Area, but when you gamble in the buys, right? Everybody means in Texas, man. Amazon quân, Tesla quân, Microsoft quân, Google quân, Oracle quân. It's a Del Monte, the one canned food company quân. They company quân là you wouldn't, they là you wouldn't nhan, right? You will see as you wouldn't nhan. Nếu mà mình做工讲，nếu ta to nếu wouldn't nhan, ta wouldn't you boy. So it's a no 标准 in Texas, man. So you won't mind nhan, né? So you thiếu công mà, nhưng xem công này is so, những hay chút điều ở tao, on camera, train new players on you. So easy that whenever you just sin is whenever you做工, no time limit, right? mình做工, just sin 12, mình做12, just sin 10, mình做10, just sin 2, mình做2, just sin 7, mình做7. Put in 8 hours. Rồi ta gang má tao mầm, má tao con, má tao whatever. Chỉ xin ta lúc hoài so need to say what lúc anh ngoài dùng năm year nha lúc thảo nào 100,000 mà YouTube every day every month out so nè so thu giờ lúc anh ngoài dùng à tụi mình my spark plug là my spark plug con yếm mi tổ công after fix lưỡi lúc mi tổ công nè như boss con you know what it's okay stay home so you stay home nè okay so whenever you just think that hay plus bút bèn và số như những số ad sao tao những số call lên chỉ buồn này khách này con you want những tại số con ha that's simple right chỉ xin 8 so 8 chỉ xin 9 so 9 the one time so the one time the down time so the down time whatever it's an easy time những số nhà những số hiểu hả tao những số hiểu mà tao những số beg của nhà homeless person này so yeah thank God that you know but you thank God that he gave me no position so yeah need to deal with all this stuff but he gave me this position 2 years ago but you know because 2 years ago you told her you probably the hang co-worker happy it's my boss my owner him my boss my owner right the owner me but owner still him you owner him the boss but you do something wrong and him your boss chỉ chuyện này là him you that's it so see I think